Good morning, everyone. 2016 Dodge Ram. We're going to be doing the hardwire kit for the Valentine radar detector. I'm going to take you step by step on where you can tap the fuse or power signal for the kit. I'm also going to show you what kit I'll be using from Amazon. Um, Not only this would look better than the cigarette lighter type plug, so you don't have any wire dangling from the ceiling all the way to the cigarette lighter. I'll go ahead and take you step by step. Let's move on the first step. We have a 2016 Dodge Ram. Customer came to me and asked me if I wanted to do a hardwire setup on his radar detector. It's a Valentine G1 or version 1 Gen 2. Ended up having to order one of these Valentine hardwire kits from Amazon. It comes with the cable itself and a couple of type of wire fuse. Now some people do it in different various way. The one that I saw majority of, a lot of people are tapping it to the ignition or to the cigarette lighter circuit, which works as well. I just don't like it doing it that way. I prefer to have it on its own fuse. That way the cigarette lighter is not affected. If you plug in anything over 15 amps, it's not going to pop the fuse. So I'll be running this one to the fuse box itself, so it's going to have its own little fuse, and I'll show you how to do that. Currently this is what he has going on. That would get annoying, kind of hitting around when you're driving around, so I'm going to ride everything up cleanly. I'll show you how to do that. First step I did is get the wire inside the cabin. What I did was drill a small hole on this little plate right here, just enough for the plug to go in, and just kind of have everything ready right here since it's going to the fuse box. Just kind of lay everything out and then go ahead and pull these and start wiring everything up. I'll show you what that should look like. So here's the wire that you ran right here. Just kind of go ahead and trace this cable right here, the parking brake. You're trying to avoid moving parts like kind of like that one. As you can see, that one's moving quite a bit, so I'm going to zip tie the wire right here, that way it's away from it. And I have it, see if I can get the camera for you. Going through that little opening right there, so it'll be completely away from this rod when it's moving, so you can see. You don't want any wires kind of rubbing on it, because eventually that might kind of start messing with the wire, so try to avoid it. So it's as quick as zip tying it here for safety, and then you're going to be tracing it along to this channel right here, and then it's going to shoot through over there. For this process, this is completely optional. What I do is zip tie one loop, that way when it's placed here and the customer decides to move it like in the right side or in the middle, all he has to do is pull this, unzip tie it, and then kind of have enough slack that he'll need to move it around. That way, because I'm going to be running everything tightly, so just to kind of save the customer some time if he decides to move it. So I got everything tucked in. As you can see, just kind of pull just a little bit and then put your wires in there. It's already plugged in. That's the only wire you're going to see. Run it all the way to the channel right here. Kind of loop around inside. Since this has a side airbag, make sure you put the airbag behind it, so when it deploys, the airbag goes this way and the wire is right here, as you can see. So it will not affect how the airbag deploys. I did tuck the extra wire in, just put a zip tie, one zip tie in the middle, and tuck in all the extra wire. Like I said, it's not going to affect the airbag. Airbag stops right here. So just close everything up, and you'll never even know that the wires are there. far as for the bottom, utilize the factory cabling, and here's where I zip tied the wire that I ran inside, 3 points, so that's not really going anywhere, but prevents it from touching. As you can see, that's what you always want to do, is to prevent moving parts from touching any harnesses that you run. So we'll move on to the engine bay and then tap it in the fuse box. Sorry about that. Fuse box location. What you're going to be looking for is the F101 labeled spare. It's this one right here. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets power when you turn the key on and not constant. So that's what you're looking for. I'm going to be matching up whichever fuse since I haven't pulled one out. So I'm going to try to see which one of the type of fuse that I'm going to need to go here. And we'll go ahead and tap that fuse. The hardwired kit will come with various different sizes for different type of fuse. I already found which one it is. It's one of these micro 2s. Yes, you will see 2 fuses here. Since the spare fuse doesn't have anything in it, I just inserted a 20 amp. Doesn't really matter because the 5 amp is what's going to be protecting the circuit for your radar detector. So, but you will need a fuse down here to supply power to the top or to this wire. So like I said, this is the location that you're going to be doing. It'll be a spare auxiliary output, so it'll only get power when you turn the key on. So just go ahead and insert it. I already did the like a little notch right here. That way the wire can kind of go through here and you're not sacrificing too much of the seal. So go ahead and do that. We'll move on to the next step. I did also have to notch a little location right here. That way the wire will kind of sit on that opening. I noticed that this meets up with the bottom of the power cable, so you're gonna need to notch one right here as well. So like I said, it'll look just like that. So here is the end product. Like I said, this little notch right here would make that thing sit perfectly there. I did have to cut a notch on the little lip of the seal. That way the fuse would go in. You can't really take this off, as I noticed this was an airbag fuse. So I guess this is where the fuses and stuff like that are going to be resting. So, which is not too bad. I may have to extend the ground a little bit, which also not a big deal kind of situation. I'll go ahead and do that. Close everything up and then test the radar detector. So here's the end result. I notched it a little bit higher, that way this cover would fully close. And here is the power side. So I do have to extend the ground, which it's no big deal. I'll do that, and everything is pretty much done. So I ended up having to extend the ground signal. I used a heat shrink with the glue built in, so when you heat shrink it, the glue would seep out and waterproof it. It's going to be going to this bolt right here. I also loomed the power signal cable all the way over there, and it's going to be zip tied once everything is kind of secured. So yeah, you can do it either on the battery or you can do it in here. I prefer it here, that way it's kind of hidden and I don't like messing with that cable stuff. So yeah, take this off, then put the ground in and test your radar detector. So I got everything zip tied, as you can see, zip tied here, zip tied there, and I already got the ground mounted, tightened everything. As you can see, everything is closing, loomed all the way over there for a clean look, and we'll go ahead and test it out. No wires hanging. Double check it all. Turn the key on. You can see, that's the only wire you will see. No more hanging wires. It actually looks pretty good there. So that concludes the install.